lecture, Conflict Management in Diaspora, organized by the UGC Center for Diaspora Studies and to be delivered by Dr. Anjali shortly. Under the able guidance of inspiration of our worthy Vice Chancellor, Dr. Jaspal Singh Ji, it has been our endeavor at the Center to deliberate upon and initiate meaningful dialogue on diasporas and diaspora studies from diverse interdisciplinary approaches by organizing conferences, lectures, symposiums, face-to-face, etc. This lecture today is in connection with the approach to generate academic exchange to variegated diaspora-related issues. It would not be an exaggeration to state that diaspora studies today has assumed as area studies an important meeting ground of academic and scholarly researchers in humanities, social sciences, languages, information technology, life sciences, environmental studies, cyberspace, computer-oriented technologies, among others. Vast mobility of populations and communities across the world constitute what I would call both celebratory and problematic aspects and experiential attributes away from home or nations. Several challenges of adjustment, accommodation, assimilation, and threats of acculturation foreground them. As a student of psychology, whatever little understanding I have about technical and other procedures of psychoanalysis entail resolving a number of conflicts and oppositions in diasporas centered in race, ethnicity, culture, politics, questions of identity, familial and inter- and intra-generational issues, problems of gendered experience and sexuality, all centered in various discourses that modulate and guide human behavior and its patterns and problems. If anything, problems and imponderables of accommodation in host cultures and societies do engender conflictual interests and parallel assertions where racial, colored, or ethnic relations come to the surface in claiming the communities or individuals' search for space and a dignified sense of identity on one's own terms. Contradictory impulses or wishes within groups and communities do produce emotional tension, despair, stress, often disagreeable feelings of loss, alienation, exile, and subversion, leading to repression of one's desires and impulses. If anything, today's global open world has only accelerated and exacerbated some grave problems facing humanity, such as terrorism and religion-oriented prejudice, hate crimes, racial antagonism, and so forth. Some of these, if I may say so, have their origin in root conflict, while others emanate from diasporic conditions of experience involving in-betweenness, hybridity, hyphenated identities, opposing cultural and social practices, to mention a few. Psychological methods intend as a goal to reduce intergroup conflicts and tensions and to negotiate in resolving oppositions, contradictions, and ideological clashes having bearing on one's putative national or older sense of belonging. For instance, one of the serious issues affecting diasporic groups and ethnic enclaves are political, racial, and international conflicts, some of them being seen increasingly in USA, Europe, and Middle East now. Following massive acts of destructive magnitude, these conflicts require strategies and procedures from negotiation, intervention, counseling, for decreasing what may be called pathologies afflicting human and social behavior patterns, which can be resolved or at least reduced towards mutually acceptable positive attitudes. In this sense, in my humble view, psychological investigations can produce meaningful results to make diasporic existence more positive and thus contribute towards a better transnational global world we live in which and which is only likely to become more complex in various ways. With these words, I welcome you all once again to this absorbing session. I would now request Dr. Tejinder Kaur, Director of the Center for Diaspora Studies, to welcome the guests and say a few words about the center.
Thank you, Dr. Manjeetendra. Esteemed Vice Chancellor Sir, Dr. Jaspal Singh Ji, Dr. Anjali, Professor and Head, Department of Psychology, University of Allahabad, Dr. Vandana Sharma, Professor and Head, Department of Psychology, Punjabi University, Patiala, guests, faculty members, heads, research scholars, students, I, on behalf of myself and Center for Diaspora Studies, welcome you all and express my gratitude for accepting our invitation to be with us during the special lecture this morning. It is indeed a matter of great pride for the Center, which is organizing this 10th event today since its inception in December 2012. The earlier events organized by the Center have been 4 special lectures on different areas of diaspora studies by Dr. Chandrasekhar Bhatt, Dr. Paramjeet Singh Judge, Dr. Avdesh K. Singh, and Dr. Alka Pandey. An orientation program for translators arranged with the help of Translation Mission New Delhi, a 2-day workshop on Indian Punjabi diaspora, identities, locations, and intersections, 2 international conferences on Indian Punjabi diaspora, narratives of migration in Southeast Asia and Far East, and Indian Punjabi diasporic cinema, narratives of transnational experience, an interface with Punjabi NRI writers, journalists, media persons, and counselors from different countries, 1-day national seminar on Kamagata Maru and Punjabi diaspora, emerging trends and dimensions. The other events in the offing during this academic session are 2 more lectures, one on the contribution of Punjabi diaspora to the world agriculture, to be delivered by Dr. M.S. Kang, former Vice Chancellor of Punjab Agricultural University, Ludhiana, in the month of January 2016. Another on diasporic literary theories by Dr. Rumina Sethi, Professor of English, Punjab University, Chandigarh, in the month of March. A 3-day international conference on diaspora and development, emerging multidisciplinary dynamics of Indian Punjabi migration, to be held in Feb 2016. The Center has also published the proceedings of 2 conferences and is preparing the proceedings of the 3rd conference, which will be released during the forthcoming conference. The Center has also offered PG Diploma in Diaspora Studies and also working on a project, Punjabi Diaspora in Britain, which is near completion. A project on Punjabi diaspora in Canada, a multiple profile, has been outlined for this session, and during the next years will take up projects on Punjabi diaspora in USA, Australia, and Malaysia. The Center has also launched its own website in which during the past 2.5 months, around 15,000 units have visited the site from India as well as from other countries. The Center for this is something unique. The Center for Diaspora Studies, Central University, Hyderabad, which was the first center of diaspora studies in the country, has offered our research staff to visit their center to make use of the library and other facilities available there and study the research and other activities going on there so that we can get a cue from the best practices being followed in that center, and we can also do such kind of work which is being done there. Our research associate Dr. Pooja Sharma and project fellow Mudassir Bhatt, they will be visiting Center for Diaspora Studies, Hyderabad in the month of January. The center also plans to do some field work by contacting the NRIs who visit Punjab during the span of winter. As envisaged by our visionary Vice Chancellor Saab, the center is also in the process of preparing a database of Punjabis living in many countries, engaged in different activities and fields. The special feature and engagement of this center is to connect the faculty and scholars of all the disciplines and areas involved with diaspora issues, not only of our university and other universities within India, but also from other countries, and plan and work together to make Punjabi University Patiala a nodal center of diaspora studies. For this grand purpose, we seek the advice, suggestions, and cooperation of all our friends within the nation and beyond in order to give a practical shape to the vision and mission of the Center of Punjabi University, which in fact is the dream and brainchild of our Vice Chancellor Sahib, who has been a motivating force behind all the activities and plannings of the center. All of us know that he is an icon of positivity, encouragement, resourcefulness, and has been providing support in all respects. We are grateful to you, sir, for your inspiring leadership and ever-evolving vision for the multi-dimensional growth of this university. When we were planning the areas of special lectures for this session, one of the areas we thought of was the multiple conflicts faced by diaspora, which is one of the major issues of diasporic existential reality. For getting an expert for the lecture, I immediately contacted my friend Dr. Vandana Sharma, Professor and Head Department of Psychology, to help me out in this regard. Her spontaneous, encouraging and positive response by approving the idea and suggesting the name of Dr. Anjali, Professor and Head Department of Psychology, University of Allahabad, was really a thrilling moment for me. I am extremely beholden to her, not only for connecting me to Dr. Anjali, but also for defining the topic of today's talk. In fact, the entire credit of having Dr. Anjali amongst us today goes to Dr. Vandana Sharma. I am also thankful to her for accepting my request to be the guest of honor today. A big thank you, ma'am. My heartfelt thanks are due to Dr. Anjali, who responded to my request to deliver the talk so warmly and enthusiastically. Ma'am, kindly listen. My heartfelt thanks are due to you because you responded to my request to deliver the talk so warmly and enthusiastically. During my communication with her through telephone and email, I found her so informal and humble, which overjoyed me every time. I failed to find words to welcome and thank you for taking pains to come to Patiala from Allahabad. When I requested the colleagues from the Department of Psychology, regular department, as well as distance education, to be with us for the lecture along with their scholars and students, I found them very keen to meet and listen to Dr. Anjali. I am thankful to all of them for being here. The Center for Diaspora Studies will plan many activities in consultation and collaboration with psychology and other departments, and we seek the advice and cooperation from all of us in future also. I am full of gratitude for all the guests, officials, heads, faculty members, research scholars and students who have boosted our morale by their presence, with us this morning. Last but not the least, this event would not have been possible without the untiring and wholehearted efforts and inputs of my friends in the Center for Diaspora Studies, Dr. Manjeet Sen, Dr. Pooja Kansal, Dr. Pooja Sharma, Mudassir Bhatt, Lajpat and Sandeep. I express my sincere thanks to all of them. Once again, I welcome and thank you all for gracing the occasion. I'm sure that the talk on conflict management in diaspora by Dr. Anjali will benefit us all. And I have one more request to make, that all of you should participate in the interactive session which will be followed after her talk. She agreed. I requested, ma'am, should there be interactive session? She said, why not? Thank you, ma'am, for that. Thank you everybody once again, and I welcome you all again. Thank you so much.
Dr. Tejinder Kaur for giving us this very graphic account of the achievements of the center and what's going to be the shape of things in future, as she has told you. Now, you can see on the screen the exact topic of the lecture. This is conflict management in Indian diaspora, saga of uprooting and rerouting. It sounds very interesting from a psychological point of view. Now, I have the pleasure of reading out some of the details of the biodata of Dr. Anjali. One of my problems which I faced after looking at this biodata is that it's rather long, so I may not be able to do justice to the whole biodata, but I pick and choose some of the prominent things which are her achievements in her career. By now you know her designation, Professor and Head, Psychology Department in Allahabad University. She did her MA from the University of Allahabad in 1976 and DPhil in 1988 from the same university. And the topic of research was certain deprivational factors in language development in children. She has completed several pre-PhD courses, and she has published, as the biodata tells us, more than 50 research papers in journals and other volumes, and she has presented papers at the national level in Arunachal Pradesh and Bihar and Chhattisgarh and Pondicherry and Allahabad itself, in Haryana, in Bangalore, in Gorakhpur, in Allahabad University again, and several other places. And as you can understand, I cannot go into all the titles of her papers because of the paucity of time, but I'm really impressed by her achievements, and she's done so much of work, and she has attended so many international workshops and presented papers, attended so many seminars at different places pertaining to different aspects of psychoanalysis and the discipline of psychology. She has visited Madrid, Spain in 1994, Germany in 1994 again, Amsterdam, Netherlands in 1994, and Indonesia in 1993. One of the things which interested me, which I shall come to just now, after a little while, is that she's also a life member, National Academy of Psychology since 1994, member Somatic in Block Society, life member Indian Association of Applied Psychology since 1996, life member Community Psychological Association of India since 2003. What is more interesting to me at the end of this biodata, very long biodata, and maybe to you also, is that she has acted also in some TV serials. And does she look like an actor? if we look at her, anyway, she has acted in a TV serial on Lal Bahadur Shastri on DD1, participated in TV programs on Doordarshan as anchor, presenting, including concerts, interviewed celebrities with contribution in their respective fields, and resource person in program on child rearing. She has been also a radio drama artist since 1974, participated in radio plays and stage shows, and doing counseling of people with psychological programs under the scheme Theosophical Order of Service. So, this was a very brief, I should say, overview of the enviable biodata. And after that, now I'm going to request her to please deliver her talk, Conflict Management in Indian Diaspora, a saga of uprooting and rerouting. Let's give her a big hand.
I have left lecturing quite a long time ago. The Vice Chancellor, Coordinator of the Diaspora Center, Dr. Tejinder Kaur, Dr. Vandana Sharma. ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੇਰਾ ਸਤਿ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ। ਮੈਂ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਤੇਜਿੰਦਰ ਕੌਰ ਨੂੰ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਡਾਇਸਪੋਰਾ ਸੈਂਟਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਨਫਲਿਕਟ ਮੈਨੇਜਮੈਂਟ ਦਾ ਲੈਕਚਰ ਦੇਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਇਨਵਾਈਟ ਕੀਤਾ। ਜਿਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇਨਵਾਈਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਉਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਪਤਾ ਕਿ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਨਫਲਿਕਟ ਮੈਨੇਜਮੈਂਟ ਤੇ ਡਾਇਸਪੋਰਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ। ਪਰ ਜਦੋਂ ਸਾਡਾ ਇੰਟਰੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਹੋਣ ਲੱਗਾ, one thing which was very important or one thing which led me to the nostalgia was her ringtone. Ikyumkar, Satnam, Karthapuram. And let me tell you, that swept me. I was remembering the whole Guruvani, Japuji Sahib, ਮਿੱਤਰ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਡਾ ਹਾਲ ਕੀਦਾ ਲੱਗਣਾ। ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਮੈਂ ਕੋਈ 40 ਸਾਲ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਦੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਰੱਖ ਰਹੀ ਹਾਂ। So this was very important for me in the sense, being a cultural psychologist, working in indigenous psychology and working on all these psychological problems and different aspects. This was really very special opportunity for me, and for that I am very thankful to Dr. Tejinder Kaur, Dr. Vandana Sharma, and to Dr. Tejinder Kaur, who has said so many good words for me.
You are. You deserve them.
What I was doing at the moment, what happened? The moment you heard me speaking Punjabi, there was a kind of connectivity, which is the eternal quest for everybody to connect, to be recognized. And this is the precisely problem of the Indian diaspora. So with that, this background, I will start my lecture on this conflict management in Indian diaspora. I would be speaking about diaspora, and I was thinking that he is the greatest psychologist who is speaking about the conflict management of Indian diaspora. What I would not be speaking is about political aspects, about foreign policy, about globalization, and to some extent, religion also. So just have it. Have a look on all these pictures. Quite a lot of has been said about Modi's visit and things like that. I said I won't mention political things, but everybody was seeing it in the perspective of politics, but there is a psychology. Why he was connecting with everybody? Why everybody wanted to shake hand with him? Because that shaking hand gave them an assurance that there is somebody there who is considering about our welfare, with whom we can identify and with whom we can say with pride that we are proud Indian. An identity which was in question, that was the main thing. So there are two perspectives about the diaspora life. Generally, overseas life is supposed to be very attractive, lucrative jobs, lot of opportunities. And I see lot of young friends sitting here and they would be aspiring to go abroad. When we were discussing in Vice Chancellor's room, then we were saying that if there are so many problems, then why everybody wants to go to the foreign land? There is something. There is a dreamland. There's a dream land of opportunity where everybody wants to fly, where everybody wants to grow. This is the feeling that they want to go there. But the fact is that there are so many challenges, very real, and when you hurdles to succeed are much higher for a foreigner. There are not isolated issues. There are so many issues which are there. What happens when a person goes there? Migrates from one place to another. The first thing is cultural shock. Everything is so different. All of a sudden, it's a feeling like you have been parachuted to one place and then the parachute is off and then you are left with nothing. You don't know, the streets are different, the people are different, the language is different. Everything is different. I just want to share my own experience quite a long ago, which you heard in 1993. I had gone to Indonesia and then I had no experience and I went out of the airport without having any foreign exchange. So there was no money with me and I had to call the university people and the system was different. Here in India, you first dial and then the ringtone will come and then you put the coin. You people in mobile days, you won't be knowing about all these things, the technical things, but it was there. And then you put the coin and then you can call. But the system was that you first put the coin and then you can ring. And just see, I was fresh, I was in a shock and I was not able to connect with the university people. So I thought the first thing that if I get the back flight, I will go back to India. So cultural shock is one of the things. And language barrier. Yes, I am speaking English, you speak English, but the accent, it's not about the bad English or the good English, it's about the accent. We say bathroom and they say bathroom. And sometimes you're not able to understand what they are saying. So you have to ask so many times, what did you say? Sorry, excuse me, pardon. And even pardon also they would not be able to understand. The third thing is, which is the family peer pressure. Everybody says that my son has gone to Canada and then he would be in very good place. So it may be self-inflicted pressure. It is the person to person varies, but it is there. That everybody would be thinking about that I am earning quite a lot, but here I am not able to get a job. A doctorate person, Dr. was telling me, he inaugurated his book, he has written a book, and he met him in Canada, and when he asked what you are doing, then he started crying. Why he was crying? Because he was doing a job of the PM over there. So this is the reality. Ego and self-confidence, it hurts your ego. It hurts your confidence. Your psyche inside is affected by all these things which you are not able to share with other persons. Education, it's not the question about the degree and all these things. It's a question about whether I need some more degree. So these kinds of mental noise are going on there every time, every moment. And then the dollar is dollar. It is the attraction of the dollar that everybody wants to go there. When you are here in dollar, then you calculate the dollar in terms of 1,000. But when you go there and you do all these things, buy the things, then $1 is equal to 1 rupee because the unit currency is everywhere same. And when we go in a foreign land, then if we have to take a glass of water, we will start converting the money. So the dollar charm is always there. And then there is a reaction of the host culture also, hostility and discrimination. This was the scene of the attack in Gurdwara in Wisconsin, Milwaukee. Recently you have heard about the attack in the Paris. These are the reactions everywhere, all over the world. All over the world, what is happening? 25 million people in 110 countries, the second largest diaspora. They're asking who we are and the land we left behind. And this is such an important question that every diaspora over there, they are in a dilemma, in a conflict. What we are doing here? Should we go back to India? What should we do? But again, the charm is there. The conflict is between choice between two things. Then the children are there, Should we send our children to India to some good boarding school so that they can study, they can know their culture, they can know their language, or what should we do? Then there is a guilt of leaving their parents also. They left their parents. They are not able to fulfill their duties. The emotional debt which they had to pay, they are not able to do because the facilities, the development of that country is there and the people left behind is here. So they are always, just now she was telling me a poem, na idhar ke rahe, na udhar ke rahe. So this kind of dilemma is there. And this dilemma is very important, those who aspire to go along, and then how this dilemma is resolved. This is the main theme. The perception of the host culture. This is the story of the Indian diaspora and how when they go to the host culture, how do they perceive them? There is a sense of marginalization, the sense of cultural insularity, that we are in one. This latest story I will tell about later on, and then the racism is there, dilemma I talked about. So there is a constant struggle going on that they have been uprooted from their homeland and then they have to reroot. So this uprooting and rerouting story is there, and roots are part of the existence. हमारी जड़ें कहाँ हैं? Everybody wants to catch them, hold them,